Hi everybody, it's Janet with Fruit of the Vine Art Studio here. Thank you for joining me on this lovely Wednesday afternoon, evening. We are getting a little bit later in the day, aren't we? Anyway, let me pull this up real quick on the computer, and that way when you hop on, I'd love it if you just say, hey, tell me where you're watching from. I'd really appreciate a couple comments so at least I know I'm on the right page. Thank you. Now, what we're going to do tonight is kind of continuing on our little Mod Podge trend with napkins. I've got another napkin here that I'm going to use tonight. I'm going to tilt you guys over. You seem to be looking in just sort of an odd direction here. Let me see. Is it where this is placed? There we go. Let me tilt you down a little bit, and we're going to zoom you in right on my shirt. There we go. That's much better. Okay, so here, let me get this. Seems everything's over really far. Ooh. Let me see what's going on here. Why it's not standing right. It must be having something underneath it. Now we're looking at this. I apologize, everybody. There we go. Now we're in the right spot. Sometimes. Anyway, what we're going to do today is I've got this really lovely napkin, and we're going to start with our Mod Podge, but the first thing I want to do is I want to cut this right around this trim area here, where it's got these little circles, little dots. I'm going to use those, and the edging also. I'm going to cut them out here. Okay. So I'm just going to keep going. It may not be really right in the exact spot, but we're going to be okay. I think you can kind of see it anyway, can't you? I think so. I hope so. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate that. I appreciate you giving me a comment. Let me know I'm on the right page and that I can actually see things here. Last time, usually I have the computer up here so that I can see the comments on the computer because it's so hard to see them on the phone. The phone's a little bit further away and it's sort of tilted down and it's harder to see. Last time I couldn't see a single comment on my computer. I could only see them on the phone. So it's just really different. You're never really sure what's going to be happening when you're up here working. Okay, so now I've got this cute little border here all cut out. I'm going to keep that. I'm going to put that to the side here for a second. I'm going to take this piece here, this middle piece, and I'm going to peel the backing off of it here. And it's already kind of started for me here from where I cut it. Now, actually this looks like there could possibly be another layer on this. This could be a 2-ply, or I mean a 3-ply. Let me look at it here. Is it? I'm trying to see if there's another layer under there. There sure is. You got to really look. You can kind of usually tell by the back. If it still looks like it's got that white layer to it, usually that means there's at least one more layer on this tissue. So now see how the back of it looks? You can kind of really see that this is now the raw one layer of a tissue. And that's all there is to that. So we're just going to put this over here for right now. And I'm going to get out my Mod Podge. And we're going to put this really pretty flowered napkin right on here. I want to make sure I got it centered right. Yeah, I think that would be perfect just like that. Okay. So to do this, first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of fold this over and get it out of my way, and I'm going to cover my entire canvas, the whole top of the canvas, with my Mod Podge, if I can get it opened. Let me fight it for a second here. There we go. Jeez, sometimes those things can be really hard to open. They kind of stick to themselves pretty good at the top. Okay, I'm just going to take my chip brush, dip it right into the Mod Podge. I don't know. I can see it on the computer and the phone. I'm talking with Steve. Do what? I don't think that's better. Okay, now I just want to make sure I got the Mod Podge everywhere. And I'm just going to kind of put it down here, working from that edge, pulling it this way. I'm just going to work it out. Peel this back a little bit. When you get a bubble, you can sometimes just pull your napkin up and then smooth it back down. Now, I'm not looking for it to be a perfect application. If I was doing that, what I would have done was I would have first painted my canvas with the Mod Podge, and then I would have let that dry. I would have let that dry for a while, really well. And then I would have gotten out my iron and literally ironed it onto the canvas, and there would not have been a wrinkle one on it. But the wrinkle is not the problem. I'm not worried about a wrinkle being on it. I'm just working on getting all the little air bubbles out right now. I'm not too worried about the wrinkle. So there, that looks pretty good to me. Let me just push a couple of little other spots down. I can see them here. And I'm just going to take my scissors and just trim this off right along the edge here. Well, maybe I am. Probably should have did that before I got started here. We'll just work that down. We're going to do the same thing over here. Just take the scissors and trim this off. They certainly don't want to cut that, do they? I'm not too worried about that being a real sharp edge either, though, so that's all right. Just want to get it done there. Okay, now we'll just take our Mod Podge and just work it down along the edge. Just like this. And I'm not going to be too concerned about the edge being perfect either, because I'm going to take that other edging that I cut off with those pretty dots on it. I'm going to flip this up this way just a little bit and bring it back down so it's good and covered. There we go. Just getting the Mod Podge all over and making sure that it's got good coverage all the way around the outside so that it's adhered very well to the canvas. Isn't that pretty? That's such a pretty napkin. I really like it. And we're going to do something really fun tonight with this. Something really different that I've never actually done before. Okay, something totally different. I have not done this before. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece and let me see. First, I got to get these layers off the back of it. So let me see if I can, maybe I can get it started from the inside edge. One of these inside areas. It's definitely not. Here we go. Here's a spot. I can see it here. So there's one. There's one of the layers. Now let me see if I can get this other one off. I hope I can. Maybe blow on it and it'll separate. I don't know. Let me try. There it did. Now if I can just get my thumbnail under it. There we go. Be careful with it. Because now you're around that perforated edge where it's got those little spots where they've pressed it in and it'll rip it real easy. So you just want to be careful when you're peeling that next layer off. Hey Carol, thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a good night. There we go. Got that thing out of the way now. Ah, those are just like strips and ribbons. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do is I want to take this and I'm going to edge this with these little dots right here. I'm just going to put it to where the dots go right around the edge of the canvas right here like this. Right along the edge. And then I'm going to cut that off and then I'm going to do the other side of it. So what I need to do now is just take my Mod Podge and put it all around this outside area right here. So I'm just going to put a row of Mod Podge right on the top. Let me get a little more here because I want it to be on the top of the napkin, so I'm putting it right on top of the canvas. Don't want to get it too thick though. Maybe should have got a little smaller brush, but that's okay. This will be perfectly fine. I just need to smooth it out a little bit. Around the top of the canvas here, all the way down to the edge. Just set this to the side. And then I'm going to get this corner. And I don't want that part to touch yet. But I want to take this corner right here, fold this up. And I'm going to put it right along the edge here. And then just take my fingers and press this down right here. And then I'm going to bring it right down the side of the canvas with these little dots. Just like that. Take my scissors and I'm just going to cut this off. Right there. And I'm going to cut it off right here. All right. So now we got like a little built-on frame going around the edge of it here. Yeah, I have had a really good day today, Carol. Thank you. I'm glad to see that you did too. Let's see. I'm going to do the same thing now right here. I'm going to go up around this side and around that edge, doing the exact same thing with my Mod Podge. Just going to put it right along the edge here. Turn that over. And go up this side. Ooh, don't want to get it too thick. I'm getting a little thick there. It's not going to hurt it any way you look at it. There we go. Now I'm going to get this corner in the right spot. here. And just press this across through here. And then get this piece before it starts getting too messed up right there. And bring it right up to here. And you're probably thinking, mixed media rock art, where's the rock? Don't you worry. We're going to do the rock in just a little bit. We got the rock part coming right up. I've got some fun I'm going to add to this pretty little frame right here. And actually, this is a pretty little picture all in itself. You really wouldn't have to do anything else to this than just like what it looks like, honestly. It's just very pretty. So let me see. Can't cut it that way. That wouldn't look right. It's got to be cut that way, doesn't it? These are not the scissors to be up here trying to use, that's for sure. Maybe we'll finish this little part in a minute. We'll let this dry first, because that's pulling that up and pulling it apart. So we'll not mess with this for the moment. We're just going to leave this little piece right there. Just like that. And what I'm going to do now, I am going to plug in my hot glue gun. Could you bring me those black scissors, Steve? Thank you. Give me a sharper pair up here that I can actually do a little work with. Let this hot glue start getting hot here, because this green pair is just not going to cut this the way that I want this cut. I can see that. Oh, thank you so much. There we go. There we go. Round of applause for Steve. He's very helpful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Now you can see the little border going all the way around there. It's got the little dots going all the way. And I'm thinking about it, I'm going to Mod Podge all of this all the way down around the edges. While we're awaiting. But first I need to cut this right here. And I need to cut it to where those dots go right there. And just press that down right there on the corner. Stop messing it up, Janet. That's what happens when you touch it with your fingers. Same thing there. We don't need all of that. Just that little piece right there, and we'll cut these dots off of the end of it. There we go. Okay, the hot glue's getting hot. I'm going to hold this up and put some Mod Podge on the sides. And then just press this pretty pink paper down right around the edges of it. Get a little more of the Mod Podge. Bring it across through here. Fold this down. And I'll trim that little edge in just a moment. Let me see if I can pull that loose and put that under there. And then just Mod Podge it on top of itself. That's all I need to do. There we go. Not over top of the dots, though. There we go. And go work on this side. Yeah, the hot glue's getting hot. I can see it. Put the Mod Podge along the edge. Bring the pink paper down over the edge. Don't pull too hard or you'll pull it and rip it. I'm just going to bring that out to a point right there. Bring it up this side. Such a pretty napkin, isn't it? I like the little butterfly on it too. Okay, we're going to fold this one down. Bring that out to a little point. Put some Mod Podge right here. Flip this side over. Put some on the top of it, just to secure it a little bit. All right. Now, put that down. We're going to let this stuff work on getting dry. I'm going to cut them edges off and push that down around underneath under the bottom, but I'm not going to put a bunch of Mod Podge under there right yet. Okay, so now we're ready to use the glue gun. So, I'm going to start gluing some little rocks on here. Let me get my 4 little rocks that go across the bottom. Okay, and right here I'm just going to put some hot glue going across. Stop right there, and I'm going to take this rock and put him here. Put him there. Glue this rock right here and this rock right there. And we're going to make a flower with a rock and a stick. And a stick. I'm going to use a stick too. So we're going to put the hot glue on the back of this stick and try to avoid getting it all over my finger. Let's turn it this way. Put that right there, right in the middle of it. Okay. And then I've got these 2 big rocks right here. So let me put a little bit of hot glue on the tip of this. Let's see if that'll work. Put some hot glue on the back of this rock. Uh-oh. That just like this. Don't you do that. Pulled my whole glue stick out. Here, let's start over. Okay. There we go. Put a little glue on the back of this rock. Sometimes them glue sticks can give you a little trouble. There we go. And then I got these 2. Put some glue right there. He needs to go right there like that. Let's see, you go this way, don't you? Yes, you do. Put some glue right here. I'm going to put this rock just like that. And that's going to be the start of our 2 big petals. Now this is going to be our center, and I'm going to start working the other rocks around, but there needs to be a certain amount of space. So I'm going to place them on here first so that I can work them before I actually get them glued. And you'll also kind of see what it's going to look like when I get it done. Nope, that goes this way. Okay, that's looking like that's going to be spaced properly. Okay. So we'll pick this one up. Put a glob on him. Here we go. Now we're moving. I want them to kind of not be exactly touching, but pretty close to one another. That's why I wanted to space them before actually gluing them down, to make sure I was giving them enough room in between one another. There. Ooh, this guy's getting it a little close, isn't he? It's because I put a little too much spot right there between those two, but that's all right. We just won't put him quite as far up. There we go. And then we're going to get this pretty little round one. Oh, let me get that other glue stick in here. Okay. Last thing that's got to be glued, and I got to use another glue stick, huh? Isn't that the way it always is, though? Put this right in the middle, right there. Touch that right there, that pulled that up. Let me just press that back down just ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. There we go. I think everything's probably glued on pretty good. There we are. Let me unplug this thing now. No need to keep that going. All right. Now I just gotta lift this up. And I'm just gonna take the scissors and I'm just gonna trim straight down right here. Right off the edge. Tuck that under. I can kind of pick it up now that everything's glued down. Press that under. Let me pull this little pointed spot out right there and snip it off. Press it together. We'll work this under. I'll glue that down after it dries. Right now it's just too wet for me to flip it over and start trying to glue that. But, what do you think? Here we've got a little rock flower put on a canvas. Jars of seashells. Oh yes, that would be absolutely beautiful. That would be so pretty, Carol. You do that, I would love to see it. I would love to see that. Just get you a little piece of... Actually, what I wanted to do, I wanted to find a piece of driftwood. And I was going to put the little rock flower on the driftwood. But I couldn't find any driftwood that was flat enough and that would lay flat that I could put the flower on. So I thought, well, I'll just do this with the canvas. And then when I got this pretty napkin today, I thought, oh, I'm going to use that napkin. You know, it's very pretty. It makes a very pretty background for this. But seashells would be absolutely beautiful. That's a great idea. Well, I hope you guys like this. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will see you again on Saturday. Bye.